All right, we're here for another Celtics draft scouting video today. We're looking at Rasheer Fleming out of St. Joe's. He's a forward. A quick warning before we keep going. We are recording on Zoom because StreamYard has outages, so if anything looks weird, it's because it is weird. Anyways, Rasheer Fleming, forward again out of St. Joe's. I did a scouting report on him. I think he could probably play a little bit of small ball five. That I think is a little bit on the eye of the beholder. For some context. Kevin O'Connor of Yahoo Sports compares him to Larry Nance and Brandon Bass. You can see this, right, Sam?
Yes.
Perfect. Compares him to Larry Nance, Brandon Bass. Says his strengths are spot up shooting, role player skills, defense. Concerns are shot creation and touch. Rasheer Fleming is a very unique case because it is fully just he was a role player at St. Joe's. I know St. Joe's is a big college, but he was fully a role player, and that's what it was. But that is also why teams could be a little bit intriguing. So 6'9", 7'6" wingspan. He is a big bodied defender. No ceilings. And their draft compares him to, I'll go right here, page 201. Shout out these guys. Can you see the draft board?
I see it.
Perfect. They compare him to Aaron Gordon, Trey Lyles, Taylor Hendricks. So you get a little bit of the spectrum there. And again, finishing, rebounding, weak side rim protection, and then off the dribble shooting, any creation, and then pick and roll defense could also be a concern. But that's for sure Fleming.
Yeah, Fleming is the role player part of this is interesting to me personally because I think down the line what Boston is. I mean, listen, if you draft a star, great. Like nobody's going to be like, I actually don't want to draft a star. But if you have somebody who's prepared to come in and be a role player for you and has experience doing so, in Boston in particular, I think that's a great fit just because when Tatum's healthy, that's really what they're going to need, and they're going to need that on value contracts. It's going to help them build a sustainable roster down the line. Personally, I have a friend that is R. Fleming, so it would be pretty funny to have somebody called Fleming on the team.
You could buy the jersey. Shout out.
You could buy the jersey, yeah.
Let's take a look at some highlights and see what Rasheer Fleming has going. As you can see, I've already watched a little bit of Rasheer Fleming, but shout out No Ceilings. This is their video. We'll scroll through and see what's up. Average 14.7 points, 8.5 rebounds, 1.3 assists, 1.4 steals, 1.5 blocks there. Shot 53.1 and 39% from three at St. Joe's. Not the best free throw shooter, but 7.4% certainly isn't bad. You see him rolling to the rim here, number 13. He is a freak. He's a freak athlete. He's got ridiculously long arms. He knows how to play, and he just kind of does whatever's necessary. Pretty good in the pick and roll. It's tough to tell whether or not he can play center in the NBA because you don't really know based on the way he played at St. Joe's, but I think he's got a big enough body and wingspan if he can get the positioning down.
That shot is so quick. He's got like a weird, like...
It's like a 2K jump shot. It's like you created a random 2K jump shot in the lab.
That's a good point, but it also kind of looks like Ray Allen's jump shot where it's really stiff and he goes up quick. I kind of like it. Obviously, watching all the poster dunks, especially him exploding out of the roll, is something to be excited about if you're thinking about a guy who can be an effective screener for Boston and be a threat in the pick and roll, which, barring a Luke Cornett exit, is something that they have with Cornett, but they may need to replace it. And having an athlete like this to do it is great news.
Yeah, I mean, you look at everything going on, and it's really easy to get excited about how he could fit in Boston. Sort of like, because what you said, he played like a role player. Like that is what he did at St. Joe's. He wasn't a ball handler. He wasn't a creator. He just kind of shot threes, rolled to the rim, played solid defense, and he's a freak, man. He's a phenomenal athlete. Quick shot, unafraid shooter, and he's just an all around guy as a role player at the very least.
Now you were the one that for Houdini who did the scouting report. Defensively, how switchable do you think he is? He's 6'9", big, huge wingspan, 7'5", I think it's listed at. Can he guard the perimeter, or is he going to have to be a drop guy in screen coverage?
Yeah, 6'9", 7'6" wingspan. He's got ridiculous athleticism. I think he should be fine. I'm going back to read because this was a few weeks ago.
Of course.
He's a very long forward. I think he's pretty capable of sticking with most guys. I don't think he's going to be like, Jaden McDaniels or Herb Jones or anything ridiculous in terms of like staying with guys on the perimeter. But I think he is big enough to stay with some of the bigger bodied centers and quick enough to at least be capable of sticking with some bigs. I'll show you some defensive clips. This is mostly what I was watching. I
Okay.
mean, you see him here in space. He's moving his feet pretty well, and then he's just dominated that guy. But most of them are like, he doesn't consistently go all the way out to the perimeter. It's a lot of like roaming in that middle range. Like he's not playing full drop, but he's playing like this little half drop to where he doesn't
Yeah.
have to fully be on the perimeter guarding guards, but he can get back quick enough to get these ridiculous blocks. And his second jump, I mean, you just saw it was kind of insane.
Yeah, what we've seen so far looks like he would be very capable. Obviously, he's playing against Atlantic 10 competition and not
That's the other
NBA
issue.
competition. Not to say there's anything wrong with the Atlantic 10. Rhode Island is a great school, but look, the type of athletes you're going to have to see in this division or conference rather compared to the NBA and have to switch onto those guys is a different story. So we're going to have to wait and see. Maybe Summer League will tell you something about how he can hang with some of the most heralded young guys, whatever you want to call them. But what we're seeing in this tape is a lot of athleticism, good timing on blocks. It is a highlight tape, but even there, like just catching the ball on the way up, don't even have to jump for it. Just get
Hmm.
your hand to it. Use those extra inches on your wingspan. He looks very good. Oh, this is the guy. Is that the guy that was on Indiana State a couple years ago? With the
Yeah, the
goggles?
glasses. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think most of my biggest defensive concerns with Fleming are obviously the foot speed. Like, can he stick with these quicker guards? I do worry about his over eagerness a little bit. I don't think it's anything like he averages a block and a half and a steal and a half. I think some of that could get not overhyped, but I think some of that could be, you see, I mean, jumping at that, that'll get you killed in the NBA. Just too eager for blocks, too eager for steals, too eager to jump and be in a quote unquote advantageous position to where it could put him in a difficult spot when he is against guys who are used to that type of thing. That said, I also think that's a very coachable downside to a player's game. The biggest downside and the biggest knock on Fleming is there's no evidence of any semblance of creation. He is a full needs other people to create shots for him and do things for him in terms of, you know, creating his own shots. He's pretty good driving to the hoop. If we go back here and scoring, like he's pretty good at driving and make stuff happen off the dribble. At least in the lane, like once he gets there, but he is not a I'm going to go get you a bucket guy at all.
I can't tell if I should care about that.
Exactly.
I think it caps his upside. So maybe if you're like a high lottery team, you care more about that and you're not willing to burn a lottery pick on him. But if you're fortunate enough to either have him fall to where you're picking if you're the Celtics, or if you trade up a little bit to get him, it doesn't feel like you should take that and be like, I don't want Rasheer Fleming.
I will also say there is a bit of question marks about his shooting. So he shot 39% this year on 4.5 attempts and shot 74% from the free throw line. His sophomore season, he was a junior this past year. Sophomore season, he shot 32% on 3 attempts. Freshman season, he shot 29.7% on 2.5 attempts. And his free throw shooting, freshman year, 69%. Sophomore year, 61%. This year, huge jump to 74%. Is it sustainable? Is it real? Is it a fluke? I mean, the shot form looks good, like you said. So he could have,
Yep.
like, it's very possible he just worked on it, and this is awesome. But I mean, there's a reason he's entering the draft. Like, teams are looking at that shot percentage, they're looking at everything else, and like, hell yeah. And he's like, if I go back to school and have a bad shooting year, it's going to take his draft value, stuff like that. Here's some evidence of him putting the ball on the floor. You don't get that much, but he is long enough and like capable enough to give you that every once in a while. But it's mostly just off ball movement and completely being unafraid to shoot the ball.
Man, his jumper looks so sweet. If he could just learn to handle it a little bit better, clearly doesn't have the best coordination watching this clip, but it would be sweet for creating mid ranges because he looks like he's just built to stroke it from anywhere.
Mm-hmm. My Rasheer Fleming thing, and I'm not going to get ahead of myself. If I knew for sure and I had tape of him playing center minutes at St. Joe consistently, this might be my favorite prospect in the class. It's the fact that he's a little bit in between and played a little bit more like a forward. Because, like, if you sat here and told me, yeah, I think he'll be strong enough to guard the bigs, like sort of like Al Horford can, even not even that well, but like there is a world where he could. I'm like, this has every other making of the perfect Celtic. It's just like, is the shot 100% real? Is the defense going to hold up in terms of his over eagerness? Like we kind of see Jordan Walsh and Amish K to get in that problem. I don't think it's as bad with Rasheer Fleming, but like that type of thing. And can he guard fives in the NBA? And that's sort of like where I land is like, I don't know. Could you play him in a Rob free safety role? Absolutely. However, if you're the Celtics, you're probably looking for the next guy who can actually guard centers at this point.
Yeah, and I just pulled up his tankathon because I was curious about the physicals. He's 232 pounds listed on here. He probably needs to put on a little bit more weight if you want him to have to guard the biggest centers. But maybe you. The problem is once Horford is no longer on the team, whenever that may be, you don't really have that other guy to be like, okay, you are the roamer while Al Horford guards Embiid or whoever it may be.
For
right?
context, Al Horford's listed at 6'9", 240 right now. So could you just have Rasheer Fleming put on some weight? Absolutely. Al Horford is also, I don't want to say a generational defender, but he is one of the better big man defenders we've seen in the last 10 years.
And he has a ton of patience. Like there's a lot of mental stuff that comes along with that.
And he's very good on the perimeter. Like there's so
Yes.
much that goes into Al Horford being as good of a defender as he is. But listen, man, the shooting looks awesome. It's so good. The defense, the 7'6" wingspan is insane. What's Horford's wingspan? Al Horford wingspan. 7'1". So he has a 5-inch wingspan advantage on Al Horford. Like that's crazy, right? Like that's insane. For context, Robert Williams' wingspan is 7'6". He's the same wingspan as Rob. Like that's what you're getting here. It's pretty
physically good. He gives the Rob feel more than Horford.
With the jumper.
Yes. But he's obviously not Rob, not yet.
Beautiful jumper. I don't know, man. He's good. I bet he's heavier than Rob. Robert Williams' weight. 240. I wonder what. That's a lie. No way Robert Williams is 240. I don't believe that.
I feel like Rob put on a lot of muscle, like especially in his later years with Boston, in order to be a more significant force down low.
When did Williams come to the draft? 18, 19?
18, yeah.
Let me see. I don't think we have him here. No, we have Kenrich Williams, but not Robert Williams. Damn shame.
Kenrich Williams, by the way, same hairstyle. Just keeping it.
He's rocking. Why not? All right, should we check out Sleepers Media?
Mm-hmm.
See what they think of him. Oh, 1 second. Let me pause this so it's not still running. Okay.
Rasheer Fleming.
Shout out.
An NBA draft Twitter darling.
Let's see. Strengths, they have defensive versatility, high motor, spot-up shooting, measurables, athleticism. That's a pretty good start.
Sounds like the perfect guy.
That's a pretty good start. Weaknesses, shot creation, gambles on defense, extremely raw. Exactly. So it's not much proof against the highest level competition. Gambles on defense, shot creation. That's stuff we've talked about. Let's see. What's next for them? One word, finisher, analytics. Both fine with me. We've got floor and ceiling, one floor. Okay. So we got a little bit of a disagreement or some opinions on both sides. Best fit, Spurs and Thunder. Both make sense.
I feel like he could just fit anywhere.
I know. I feel like a lot of it in my head is, can he play the 5? In 5-year starter. So they both think he'll be playing starter. I sort of think of him as a Jaden McDaniels, but less of a good defender, a slightly better shooter, and it's hard. It's like if you meshed Jalen McDaniels with I don't even know, but that's the mold that I see for him. Like that type of player, like the really long athletic 4-man who can shoot the ball, play pretty good defense. But I think Rasheer Fleming has the potential to guard 5s a little bit better than Jalen McDaniels, who's more of like a wing defender guy. Most likely to become a beloved teammate of a superstar, play an impact role on a winning team right away. That's pretty good. Pretty good. And let's listen to see what they say for ceiling and floor. Ceiling.
Where it doesn't. So, Riley, what is your best case scenario for Rasheer Fleming?
Best case is Dorian Finney-Smith, even tying into the teammates of the superstar.
So, context. The guy on the left, Dorian Finney-Smith comp, said he would reach his floor. He's not as high. Guy on the right is higher on him, says he'll reach his ceiling, and his ceiling is OG.
I thought it was flipped.
Oh, really? Wait. Let me go back to floor ceiling. Where is it?
For no reason.
Where I need to find floor ceiling.
I think it was earlier.
Okay, floor ceiling. Oh, you're right. The guy on the left thinks he'll reach his ceiling, but he has a lower best case, and the guy on the right thinks he'll be his floor, but he is a.
I went OG Anunoby.
I don't think that's that crazy, Ralph. It's not as lofty as some of your other projections because like Anunoby's basically just a better version of Finney Smith, you know?
I mean, OG makes sense. He's not really a creator. He can put the ball on the floor every once in a while, but he's largely just an off-ball guy.
Yeah.
I mean, those are pretty good. The worst
But
case.
yeah, I like your comp as well, Ralph.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I like it too. What is your worst case comp?
Greg Brown the third.
Oh,
Because remember, like when I was thinking of Greg Brown, it was like another one of those play finisher type was supposed to be this versatile defender, and you saw flashes of it at Texas. Former 5-star recruit, but like I'm pretty sure he's overseas now. He's either overseas or G League, and just has never put it together. Never found the consistency. I would say, even though I think Fleming's floor is a lot higher than that, based on the physical tools, based on the productivity. Again, if it comes back to like if the 3-point shot doesn't come along, or if he just proves to be an A10 merchant, like he could be out of the league.
I went similar thinking, a little bit more old school, probably like 2 decades. I went with Sean Williams.
Sean with an E.
Sean with an E. Sean
At the
with an
end.
E from Memphis. He was a 17th overall pick in the 2006 draft. 6'10", combo forward who could shoot three. This is before shooting threes was cool, but could do that. Was more the Rashad Lewis type. That was the pitch. Could do that. Was a little bit more physical. Was athletic, but not like a super dynamic athlete. Just couldn't quite figure it out. Right? Wasn't a good enough shooter to be the true knockdown guy.
All right. Not bad. I mean, I think OG Anunoby isn't definitely enough to get people excited, but from there, it's which one will he reach? Tier list, Sam. Can you see the tier list? Is it on the screen? I don't know about
I think it's coming. I don't know. I don't see it yet.
let me
I
share,
see a
let me
gray
share the tier
screen.
list itself. Here's the tier list. Here we go. That better? Can you see the tier list now?
Yes.
Okay, there's the tier list. Sorry, Zoom is not my friend. So we've got Danny Wolf and Thomas Sorber in A tier. I've got Rasheer Fleming right here. Right now we've got Maxime Reynaud, Ryan Kalkbrenner, Walter Clayton B tier, Kobe Brea, Yannick Conan, Niederhauser in C tier, and then Duke Dero in D tier. My question is, where do you want to put him? And on top of that, if you think Rasheer Fleming is above certain guys, we can also move some of these guys around.
I think Rasheer Fleming is the S tier.
Really?
I'm impressed. I think he's versatile. I think you could talk yourself, even though the draft comps are more wing type guys, like I think you could talk yourself into some small ball 5 stuff with him. And I also think Boston would benefit from having, even though I think the largest needs are away from the wings, it would be nice to have added wing depth, especially considering that Sam Hauser could be on the way out this summer. But also, like, he gives you a different look than Hauser, where he's a bigger body. He can probably do more defensively for you if he develops more discipline. I just think he has a real opportunity to be a winning player, and that's what the draft video had to say about him. And you're going to need that when Boston is ready to rev up and compete, whether it's maybe next spring or the year after.
Yeah. I was debating. So my thing with Rasheer Fleming is I was between A and S as well. Like I really, really like Rasheer Fleming. If he could definitely guard 5s, he would be S tier. I think he would be the best prospect for the Celtics to potentially draft, and I think that would be solidified. Because that's uncertain, and because of all the other uncertainties, I was like going back and forth. Because my thing with Rasheer Fleming is, what are his like? Definitely, we know that is going to be an NBA ready skill, right? Theoretically, his shooting, but he's only really done it for 1 year. Theoretically, his defense, but he also gambles a little bit, right? His finishing, I think, is probably up there. It's just, can he do that against better competition? This is not me knocking him. This is just like the thought process I was thinking of where to place him. Like Danny Wolf, his passing, NBA ready immediately. Thomas Sorber, his defense and his wingspan and that sort of roaming around the paint looks NBA ready immediately. Even like Kalkbrenner and Walter Clayton, like Walter Clayton shooting, Kobe Brea is shooting. Ron Kalkbrenner's defense down low in a drop defense, right? Like you can talk yourself into those. I'm only concerned about Rasheer Fleming from that perspective. But I think the fact that you've seen enough out of all those categories is enough for me to feel good about him being the S tier guy. And I think I'm okay with that. And we can always move it. If he proves to be that good of a shooter, if he can play that level of defense roaming over. The only thing we didn't really look at, and I guess we can go back theoretically and look at like playmaking. Now, we didn't really see what he's like as a passer, so we can go back quickly just to the other YouTube video if we want to take a look at that quick, because I didn't really think about that. I kind of just jumped over that part of the video because we went to talking about his defense. That's not what I meant to share. I'm looking at Sean Williams over there. Um, excuse me while I figure out how to use Zoom. Where's my tab with the videos? All right,
Did
I'm
you
just gonna
close
go.
it because you wanted to share the?
I don't think so. Here, I'll just go back to YouTube this way. Rasheer. This is so annoying. Rasheer Fleming, no ceilings. Here we go. Can you see this?
Yes.
All right. Sorry, Zoom is. I don't like Zoom. Let's take a look at some playmaking too, just because we didn't look at this before, and I feel like that's another thing where, like, if he's not the best playmaker, maybe it's another thing where you're like, it's not letting me full screen. There we go. Okay, let's see. That's pretty good. It's a pretty good start.
Pretty good notice of the double team, kick into the
Yeah.
corner. Well done.
Yeah, he's pretty aware. If he can pass out of the short roll, I mean, that's a win immediately. And if he's even more aware past that, I think it's pretty good. I mean, that's not much. That's just.
I always love when the handoffs are in the playmaking section. I mean, it
I mean,
technically
shit.
is,
If he
but
can do
it's
it, that's pretty good.
good find.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing here that is. I mean, obviously these are the highlights, but I don't think he was a high turnover player either. So, yeah. All right. Well, Rasheer Fleming. I think S tier is fine with me. I think he's a damn good player. Let us know what you guys think. Make sure to give your thoughts down below. If you think he should be lower, I would say higher, but he can't be. Appreciate you for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, turn the notification bell on, all that same. Take it out.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you leave a like, comment, tell us what you think of Rasheer Fleming, and subscribe to the channel because we are here every single day with new content. Full pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Game recaps are up the morning after each game, and other videos are here in between, like this one, to keep you up to date with all things Celtics. Ton of draft content down the pipeline leading up to it, which is the 25th, so just under 2 weeks away now. Should be a lot of fun studying up. You can find Jack and I on Spotify and Apple too. All pods and recaps are up there. So if you just want those, follow. They'll go right to your feed. Leave a 5-star review. We'd appreciate that very much. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. We're taking all your emails, trade stuff, draft prospect stuff. Send it in, hbtcpod@gmail.com. Our socials are at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Facebook podcast, all streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter's at Jack's1NBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.